at it, physically looked at it, and seen, how it was put together, even though it was still well packaged, but you could see the growth in how you presented it then and how you would present it now. Like that. Then, like I said, be it the graphics.
Yeah.
Or maybe adding a little something else to it, or like modifying it in some way. It was I think that was a great thing that happened, because then again, sometimes we know we're going and we're moving, but sometimes we don't know the rate and the speed at which we have grown.
So true.
Does
it's sort of like being in the, how do you say, you're in the forest. You can't see the forest for the trees. Like, you're in the middle of the forest, so it's really hard for you to see how far you've come,
right?
Because you're in the middle of it, so you're in the thick of it, so you really can't see how far you've grown. So I just thought it was really, really cool. I didn't get to go page by page because I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to stay focused. I was trying to stay focused and knock this out. It was so funny because I literally got up yesterday, work. And I was like, all right, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I took it to bed with me. And I was sitting there like, girl. But I was so pumped because it was like, okay, for me, learning different stuff and being introduced to different stuff, that type of stuff excites me.
Correct.
That stimulates my creativity. That stimulates my my thinking. So I get excited. And I feel like I hadn't been in that space in a long time. And I'm going to say because of COVID situations, honestly, because, you don't get to get out and interact with people as much now with all of the stuff that's going on. However, we can't always use that as an excuse because there's so much technology out here today that you can still go out and look at a YouTube video, even though Mike tells me all the time, he's like, you are so impatient. I am, because let me tell you, don't get on there doing a whole bunch of talking in the beginning and all. I'm fast forwarding because it's like, I don't want to hear all of that. Like,
let's get past the introductory. Let's get to the lesson.
Yes, let's get to the meat of it, please. I'm past the salad. I want to get to the entree, and so but there are some things out there that can really, really, really keep you fresh. And so taking these little tips and tricks classes that I have been taking for the project that we're working on, it really kind of stimulated me. And I really kind of got excited because it's so funny because we always talk about stuff happening in time, in God's timing, and how really and truly I felt like for so long I was behind the curveball and a lot of it. Well, now it's like these things are beginning to unravel right before me. And it's like, holy cow. Like,
I want to look at it like a puzzle. The puzzle pieces are in front of you. You have the puzzle. You have all the pieces.
Yeah.
Just that, like I said, all the pieces are there, but then you don't know what that picture is going to really look like until you start putting the puzzle pieces together. So it's like you got all these puzzle pieces, you put a few of the pieces there and you see that. When you saw I'm just using this as an analogy, when you saw the old proposal, when we first began and, and the scheme and how that was set up and you put another couple of pieces and said, wow, in this corner, I was here when I started. Now that I'm putting the other pieces together, I can see how far I've traveled from this time to this time. So that is a good tip for anybody that's out there who's been doing what they're doing for, a period of time, is to go back. And if you can find some of the things that you started off with, it could be your writing. It could be the fact that, oh man, I see my thought process has improved when I'm trying to articulate or when I'm trying to write something to get to somebody. Now I can see the difference between when I started and where I am now, because this is what we've been talking about. When you're in the forest and you can't see the trees and you don't know how far you travel, these things give you that energy to spark you to keep going.
And I, like I said, I didn't get a chance to go through page by page.
But you got just by seeing.
But I intend on it. I intend on it because honestly, when I think about how we originally did it, it was good, right? At the time, it seemed like it was just straight chaos. It was good though. as grand and as successful as I saw it, but we were new, and even still being new and putting it together, it still was put together very well.
Yes.
So
there
now,
was a lot. I think we learned a lot when we did that. You know, like I said, what it takes to pull it together, what it takes to do the setup, what it takes to, you know, to make sure that you have the people that you want to be there. You know, like I said, and getting them in order, because it's not just you. You have to make sure that they're set up. You got to make sure that they're in, you know, like I said, that they have their needs are met. So there's so many different components to it that you're learning that we learn together. You know, in doing so, and that we are using today.
And I love the fact that you use the puzzle piece, because it's sort of like, you know, when you get, I remember doing those great big puzzles, right? You always tend to look at the box and do the outside pieces of the puzzle.
I do.
Right. Because it seemed like that. Honestly, you're cheating. But that seems to be the easiest way.
Well, I always put the corners. That's how I do. I get the corners, and then if I find other pieces that go together, you know, like that, and I put them together, and I put them onto the side, and then as I'm going, and I can, you know, pull them in later and. Like
it's the easiest way to do it, and why not take the easiest way? Why make it hard? So when I was doing that, I was like, okay, I could see that was kind of, you know, how it was. We were putting the pieces together, piece by piece, and it worked. So now it's like, okay, I found it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go sit down and look at that, because that was a roadmap to putting together a convention. It was a straight convention. No matter how we look at it, it was a convention. And so I want to be able to go back, because that is my first love. It's my first love. So I want to be able to go back and do it. But I just can't wait to actually read over it and just see. Because looking at it off the flip, there was a lot of growth. Just looking at the graphics of it and how it was put together. It's like, OMG, this is funny. So to go back and actually read it word for word, I'm very excited about doing that, and just to see how things have grown and how things have changed, and who's to say that that's not God's just tapping us on the shoulder to say, it's time for you to brush that off, because this is the original assignment.
And we're going back out there and doing these types of things.
So it was good, because that's how the station was developed. It was developed so that we could do it all the time, as opposed to just annually once a year. So now we just bring it to you via the radio and video. But again, using technology and how things have grown and changed since then, because you got to keep in mind, that was probably, oh my God, maybe 10 years or so ago.
At least.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more than 10.
Yeah, I want to say so too, because I was trying to remember the actual date on the pamphlet, but I will definitely look when I get home, because it's sitting up on my desk, big as shiny like a new nickel, sitting up on. It's like, this is so funny.
And there's another little tip here, people, that I'm hoping that you picked up. That, like I said, we know it's been at least 10 years. That it will take time and instance. Like 10 years have already gone. It doesn't seem like, when you brought it back up, it doesn't seem like it's that long ago.
No.
But you have to understand, when people are talking, you see them and they're at their peak.
Yeah.
That it did take time to get to your peak.
Yeah, I don't even feel like I'm at I feel like I'm getting there, but I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? No. Right.
If it's not you, we're
steady growing.
But anybody that we feel that's at their peak.
Yeah.
If you really go behind the scenes, you're going to find that it took them time to get to their peak.
Oh my gosh.
It was not, everything is
nothing happens overnight.
Have you ever watched, you know, TV or your movie or something like that, and you go back and, you know, you got this favorite star that you love. Oh man, I see it. And you didn't realize how many programs or little commercials or shows they might have been in, you know, as a little guest or something of that nature, or had small parts in. And then you may see a movie that was like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, and you go, women, that's so-and-so. Oh, I love her. I love him. And, you know, like that. I didn't realize they were in this particular, you know, program. it's just the same thing for all of us. You know, there is that growth.
There's
a growth there.
And that's a good
before
thing,
you get there.
How they say, if you're not
so
growing,
don't
then
beat
you
yourself
dead.
up if you're not there yet.
Right.
Because you know, in reality, we see them at a certain stage of their lives, but they were there the whole time. And we never even noticed that they were there whole time.
It's like going back and looking at your school yearbook, and you see yourself and you're like, oh.
I watched programs or something, and I look at the program, and I know I've seen that program before, but I didn't notice this star at that time until they became, you know, like I said, now, you know, they're out there and they've gotten, well, they might not be, I'm just saying, I use the word peak, but then this is the peak
for me. They're more so in the forefront,
and then in the forefront. But here they were there all the time.
All the time.
I did not see them. But again, that consistency, they were there. They were there.
So Iman's watching. Hey, Iman in Texas. So he's saying you all have grown, and I love it. Yes, we have.
Yes,
and guess
thank
what?
you.
I can't. You don't make me go pull out the pictures from when you first started on the station, because I still have some pictures from when you first started on the station. As a matter of fact, I think I put it in the bubble up, or I was about to put it in bubble up so everybody could see. So, but yes,
I'm sure Mike misses you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're still doing their show on Wednesday, so you're not physically here, but you're here. Yes. So we're coming up on our second break of the evening. When we come back, we're just talking business and how things have changed and you should be growing in every aspect of your life. Wherever you are in your life, you should be growing in some way. If you're not, then we need to start taking a look at things. We'll be right back after this break.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN, She's the Boss Radio's Second Thursday's Networking Mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will be highlighting a business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platters. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on your business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag in the subject line, shine a light on it.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Welcome back. We are getting unboxed tonight and talking about growth and where you are in your personal or your business life. Yes, Iman, Neatly Done commercial. Yes. We can't wait to have Neatly Done or nicely done, or however neatly does it, and neatly done and neatly does it. And I don't know what the next one going to be for Maryland, but we're excited and we waiting because my carpet may need to be clean real soon. So yes, and we love you back. So we're talking about the growth in business and see, yeah, even with you know, you got a whole commercial now. You have expanded and you're expanding your enterprise. That means there's growth. And so we always say growth is good. And if there's no growth, then now it's time to take a step back and reevaluate, take a look at what's going on. Again, we talk about looking at that initial plan and going back to, okay, you might not have a formal business plan, but somewhere you wrote something down as to how you wanted to get this thing started. Go back and take a look at that. Think about how you can fine tune it. He says neatly done Baltimore. I know that's right. Yes, neatly done Baltimore edition. We need it. So look at that paper that you actually, it could have been a Post-it or something that you just wrote. Me, I like the mind map, so it could, that was my first business plan, was a mind map.
Like I said, it's just a simple, you had a thought in your head and you wrote it down. Like I said, it could be on a napkin, it could be on just a Post-it note, stuff like that. Go revisit it. Go look at it. See if there is anything that that you could add to it. See, I said I was going to research this. Have I done it yet?
Yes.
I had a thought in my head. I put it down. I put the paper down. Oh man, did I ever? That's it. All I wanted to research it just to get some information. Take that time out and do it. Go ahead and do it. Each step is going to get you to where you want to go.
I agree. Like I said, I like to mind map, and I remember one day I found my original mind map, and when I went back and I looked at it, I literally was in tears. Like I literally was a crybaby at the moment, because it's like, OMG, it was stuff on that mind map that, in all honesty, I probably thought I would never do. And for the most part, it was just about, I did everything on the mind map, and it blew me, because I was like, holy cow, like I did it. Like I didn't just do it, I did it. And it was really, really good to see, and it really did make me feel a certain type of way, because I just thought that those were things that I would like to do them. I just really didn't see myself doing them. I would like to do them, and I did them. So it was really, really good. So I like to go back and revisit the mind map. I like to go back and add to it, just to see how I've grown since then.
And of course, there are many other apps that's out there that people can use, to do just that, to get your ideas and your thoughts, and get a structure there put in place to see how this would flow. Where, if I start this business, was it just singular, or can I expand it to something else? Can I expand it and make it a charitable, something, have a charity from this business, and whatever ventures that you may want to go from. But like I said, you use Mind Map, but just know that, audience, and that there are so many
things.
Other ways to do it as well, to help you. There's tools out there. The good thing again about the internet is there's so many things you can find, major tools that you can use that as a tool or as a guide to try to find the best way for you to do that.
Right. It has to be something that works for you. What works for you may not work for me, or what works for me may not work for you. It has to be something that you're comfortable with. And it's so funny, because our first question tonight was, what can businesses do to succeed? And so that's kind of what we said, like, go back and look at where you started from. What was your thought process in the beginning when you first came up with the concept and the idea? And so if you find yourself being, and it's easy to get into, I'm going to say, a rough patch, or feel like you're stuck. And when you get to that place, I feel like that's when you need to go back and look at, those things that Pam and I just mentioned about, when you first initially jot the idea down, or, what posted some people. I'm a Post-it person. I got Post-its everywhere. And I said to Mike, I don't know what happened to all the Post-its, because I usually keep a whole box of Post-its, because I'm a Post-it person. And I was like, what happened to the box of Post-its? I couldn't find them, so I grabbed some that was here at the station. So now I'm back to Post-its. But I'm a Post-it person, and it's funny, because every now and again you run across those Post-its. It's like, oh darn, that's something that I wanted to do, or darn, it was something that I did, and I put it on the Post-it just to remind myself to go back and do it. So those are some of the things that a business can do to succeed. Is go back and look at where you originally, what was the original plan, what was the original concept, the original idea, and kind of work off it from there. Because whether you want to admit it or not, I'm sure you've grown. It's not the same unless you've done absolutely nothing. You've grown somehow.
Even if the attempt to do this particular step of getting yourself started did not work out. Just say that I was going to, I'm going to use an example. Okay. I had my business, what I'm going to do in mind. I need to research a few things to see, because I see how the business, but I want to make sure that I'm adding another element to it. And incorporating the element that I want to incorporate into this business, I see that I thought it would work, but I see no, the customers out there, because I'm talking to other people, that's not what they're looking for.
Right.
I thought this is what they were looking for.
Right.
Okay, either I give up, or I listen to what they were saying and incorporate again. Still the business, but now I know what I was thinking they needed was not what they needed. By talking to them and tell, like saying, getting the information. Now I've exposed myself to what it is that they need, that I can incorporate into the business that I want to start. That's not giving the people what they need at this stage. So you could look at it as a failure, man. Oh, what I thought they needed, it's not going to work. Give up. But or you can say, that was the failure. That's right. Because I learned that what I was trying to give is not what was needed.
Right. And it's all trial and error. Like
it is.
It's all trial and error. So yes, so definitely. And so what the next question that we talked about is, what is your idea of a business? And we talk about this all the time on the show, because today, even with I think even before today, with the pandemic starting, and how things just kind of abruptly stopped and changed, and things, like we always say, we're not going back to the way it used to be. Get over it. Like, you really have to think of creative outside of out of the unboxed ideas, because we're not going back to the way things used to be. We have got to be creative, and I think that's the one. If somebody could say what was the one thing you were excited about to take from the pandemic, that would be the one thing that I would say, is that it forced us to be creative. It forced us to think outside the box. It forced the little person. How does the Bible say the last to be first? Because it moved those major companies and corporations out of the way, so that the smaller mom and pop businesses, should they want to, or they could move to the forefront, because those mom and pop businesses were the ones that you kind of had a little bit more access to, and people got really, really creative with doing the things that they wanted to do. So for me, if somebody said, well, did anything good come out of it? I feel like that was the one thing
a lot of
that came out of it.
I mean, people started baking and, cooking and, like I said, so there was a lot of things out there to show you, okay, things you can do with your kids, it was definitely, it was a time to be creative.
So if somebody was to ask me, what is your idea of business, I would say my idea of business is anything that would satisfy or provide a need. So if you have a need, or if you have a service that satisfies a need, to me, that is what a business would be considered to me a business. I would say a viable business, because I could come up with a business. I can't even release, I could come up with something really, really random of a business, but if it's not satisfying a need, is it really a business? You know what I mean? So, I don't want to say, I could come up with a screw, because a screw would be satisfying a need.
And sometimes when I hear people talk about a business is based on how much, let me see. To me, they talk about business, and it's the scale of a business. How big is the business? If it's not making X amount of dollars, or it's not selling this amount of, for our products, then therefore, that's not really a business. That's you just got a little service. I'm like you, whatever business and you're providing, your business is, and it provides someone with the service that they need, I'm calling you a business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not looking at a business as to the fundamental of how much money you're making,
Right.
how many products
Right.
you serve. I
Right.
mean, we want to eventually get there.
Right.
But to get there, you got to start somewhere.
Right. And that's why I say, to me, it's more so in satisfying a need. Like I say, recently we had put out positions to have help for the station. And so one of the requirements was, to me, or for this station, is that you had to study a particular book, because in studying this particular book, it helps you to understand what the client's needs are. And so if you don't know what the needs are, if I don't know what your need is, how can I provide a service to you? And not only just because I can provide a service to you, but it be a meaningful service. And then not only is it being a meaningful service, but a service that you will continually use. You're not just gonna come and use me one time. You're gonna come when you need this service again, or if you meet somebody that need
that service,
exactly,
and you provide it. You know that they can provide that service.
Exactly.
I will recommend someone else to you.
Exactly. So I think we should wrap our minds around being that type of a provider, no matter what your business is, because you want to build relationships, long-term relationships, not one and done relationships. That's how I see it. But we are on our last break of the evening, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what businesses are successful in your country, your industry, and why. Why do you think they are successful here, and are there any good successful businesses here anymore? We'll be right back at this.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sharon, aka The Listener, where your voices will be heard and not ignored. You are listening to Sharon's Neighborhood Chat. Check us out every Saturday from 1 to 2 on She's the Boss Radio.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Welcome back. We're getting unboxed tonight. We're talking about business. We're just having a chit chat about business and ideas in business and growth in business and what do you think business is and what don't you think business is, and how we can just go on. But before we took the break, we talked about what businesses are successful in our country, industry, and why. And so that's a great one, because honestly, things are just all over the place, it seems like to me, really and truthfully. But I would say technology is growing a lot here.
Well, we have to say, I'm gonna just say Prime, and I think everybody know what I'm talking about. Is definitely a big industry.
You said Prime? Okay.
When I say Prime,
okay,
Amazon.
Oh, yeah, because I heard some stuff that Amazon is doing now. So yeah,
and like it's good. So, I think for me, I do believe we need to get back to an industry where we are, our services are out to other countries. You know how we had the car industry and everything that was here. We had the steel industry that was here. And then now a lot of
everybody's
those
outsourcing.
Manufacturing has gone out to other countries, and now we are importing these things to us, where we were the ones who used to, like I said, export stuff to their countries, and now we have to go back to their countries to get things. I think we need to get to a point like that again, where we have industries here.
I agree. I remember, I think it may have been during our Sundays when we were doing technology, and I remember how they started outsourcing our jobs and having different countries take telephone calls to resolve technical issues, and we were right there in the building,
right?
Which made no sense to me. Made no sense to me.
Well, that was, like I said, that was dealing with monies, okay, and we know that now. Of course, it's because of the money situation. Why would I pay you $8 an hour when I can pay someone over in a different country $1 an hour?
Exactly. And so you trade good quality service though for money, because a lot of times and a lot of our stuff fell behind because of that.
Right. And like I said, through this pandemic, it kind of showed us, or I believe it has shown us, wow, some of these services that we need, we had here.
Right here.
But now they're on the barge or they're on the ship because they're stuck.
Stuck. Yes.
Where that again showed us that we need those industries here as well.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree with you, Pam.
Even though you may have to pay us $8 an hour or whatever,
how about
then
this,
let's pay
though?
the $8 an hour over, like I said, because we see that it's been proven and shown time and time again that we need to have this in our own on our own soil.
Right. But how about this? Pay us what we're worth.
Yeah.
So, if you want good service, you want good products, pay us or pay the people what they're worth so that you can get it. But then you raise the prices to things. So it's kind of like you can't have it all the way. You can't have it all the way around. I totally
because if
agree.
you think about it, well, who's getting this money? When you were paying me $8 an hour, you send it over to another country, and now you're paying them $1 an hour.
Exactly.
But your product is still at the same price.
Exactly.
Who's getting the residuals from that? Who's getting that? So is it just going where you're saying now it's going to one person?
True.
You know what I'm saying?
And the quality of the product drops.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting thought. Why do you think some businesses fail? I think we might have just had that conversation. That's probably why a lot of them fail, is because they don't want to pay they don't want to do what it's pay for what it's worth. I had somebody say to me today, a lot of times people don't want a certain rate, or if you're doing a job, a specific, okay, I'll give you an example. If you wanted an intern and they said, well, do you pay the intern or do you give the intern credit? Well, I say, well, you pay the intern and you give the intern credit. And the question was, well, why would you pay the intern? And it's like, my thing is, I wouldn't want anybody to do something not be compensated for it, because I know what time we're living in. So if it's a situation where you just can't afford to do an hourly situation, then maybe think about what can you do to compensate that person outside of the fact of just giving them a credit. Because yes, they need the credit, but like I say, in the time that we're living in too, you still should be thinking about, I wouldn't want anybody to do anything and not be able to compensate them for their time. Time is money. I tell you that 1,000 times. Out, man, I can give you $1. I can get that $1 back. But if I give you an hour, I ain't getting that back. So I'm not trying to waste my hour just giving my time away, because I can't get that back. You ever be so tired and you like, oh my gosh, if I could just catch up on my rest. No, you never catch up on your rest. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
So I never can get that time back. And to me, time is money, because I could be doing something productive that's going to be bringing something in, be it financially, mentally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. I could be doing something productive outside of wasting my time, So not to say that, giving a person an opportunity is a waste of time, because we always say every opportunity is an opportunity. You should take it for what it's worth and make it work for your good at any rate. But when it's foolishness and it's just nonsense, yeah, you're not making that work. The valuable lesson in that would be, don't do that again.
But what you're saying, if you can give both,
yes,
do both.
If you can give
if
both,
you can do
then
both,
do both.
then do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to come back to you in the end and in the reverse, because it's almost like you're sewing into that person. And again, like we said before, when it's a service or something that's needed, that person's going to be quick to say, I went to XYZ, and although XYZ didn't have to pay me, XYZ gave me this, I would refer them to anybody else. Or you may not know what's going to happen at the end of that relationship. It could be something to say, that person may say, you know what, I see that you're doing what you're doing, and I thank you for the things that you've given me and the guidance and all the stuff that I've learned in the process, but this is what I want to do for you. You know what I mean? So you just never know. And I think if you can add to that person's life, then
do.
Add to that person's life.
Do it.
Yeah. So one of the other questions, which I thought was really cool, is business is a combination of war and sport. Do you agree? Why or why not?
I guess my question is what you mean by war and sports, but it's a battle. When I think of war, it's usually a war against, what you consider your enemy. Sports is more, for me, an area of fun for me, because I love sports. This is, one of the things I did in, also in my younger days.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Yeah. I loved it. So I guess I'm trying to think in my mind, what are you comparing? What parts of war and what parts of the sports are you taking from this question?
So I would say,
if we do that one more time,
business is a combination of war and sport. Do you agree? Why or why not?
Because sports is competitive. To me, it's competitive. So yes, it is competitive, because there's other businesses out there that's, have a similar product like yours. And I say similar because a lot of times, like I said, you got something that's a little bit different. It's a war, because there are going to be times, like say, your enemy is going to come across, come at you, and that you need to, be fit and ready for the battle. Like I said, so when they come at you, like I say, maybe saying, oh, you have taken my product, which you didn't, right. But you got a similar product, and they want to say you copied their product. So that's war. That's your enemy. Now that you got to battle them. Right. So it is to me, both.
Yeah. I would say business is a combination of war and sport. Yes, because like you said, the competitive and having that competitive edge. So there's nothing new under the sun, we've heard, but when you have that competitive edge, whatever your niche is, maybe a little different from what your competition would be. So for me, I would say yes to the sport. As it relates to the war piece, it could be. It definitely could be, depending on how you look at it. Now, like we said before, if you have a business and someone deliberately comes into your camp because there are sabotage situations, and people deliberately come into your business to get those things for whatever reason. Those can become war type situations, because it's like, okay, you're ready to fight. You're ready. Listen, I'm fighting for my baby. I'm protecting my baby by any means. So yes, it can become something of a war situation. However, you can always spin it. You can always flip it. Because even though somebody comes, I always say what's for you is for you. So if anybody comes into your camp that is trying to, steal the idea or what have you, they'll never get it because they haven't been given the assignment.
You got
exactly.
You got your army. You're ready.
Exactly. I love that post when that TikTok when they say I understood the assignment. I love it. I do. I do because it's your assignment. And so no matter what somebody may come in to try to do in your camp, it's a little different because it's yours. And at the end of the day, you don't know everything because they're not going to tell you everything. You see a little bit, but you don't know everything because they're not going to let you know everything. So I definitely think it can be war in a sport, and in a sport it could be very competitive. It could be fun depending on how you look at it, because honestly I'm going to say it's been fun for me in the growth and watching how you reach out to certain people and you're like, oh, I'm reaching out and people are like, no, like whatever, you figure it out on your own or whatever, and it's like, yeah, now you come and you surpass and it's like, yeah, see, I was just asking because we could have been doing this together, but you chose, so okay. So we're down to the end of the show, everybody. We was about to go because we got a couple more, but these were really, really good talk topics tonight, and hope that you were able to take something from them. Join me tomorrow. I think I am going to get up tomorrow and do it from my desk to yours. I just have something that I want to share with you business owners, and if you know any business owners. So thank you all again for tuning into the show. As always, we enjoy spending time with all of our boss because each and every one of you, whether you want to admit it or not, you run a business of some kind, be it in the home, the conference room, or the community. Please tune into the show every Thursday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We enjoy hearing from you, so please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com. Connect with us on all our social medias: Facebook, where She's the Boss Radio; Twitter, where She's the Boss Radio without the O; IG, where WSTBRM. Go out to she'sthebossradio.com, and you better hurry up and hit that V Lounge. It's almost over. Don't forget, you do not have to register, but we have an awesome contest. Let me just say, you can win up to $1,000. 2 couples will be winning up to $1,000. The time's up. You're right. Good night.
Good night.
Be safe.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN, She's the Boss Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will be highlighting a business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platters. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on your business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag in the subject line, shine a light on it.
Thanks for joining us. We are Deplorable Rhetoric on WSTBR. Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can also reach us on Facebook at Deplorable Rhetoric, on Instagram, Deplorable_Rhetoric, and on Twitter, we rant the number 2 rate.
She's the boss. Radio